all right. Okay. All right. So I guess this is the only slide I have. Any questions? Just open it right up. Yeah. So thanks for having me. I'm not a huge public speaker, so I don't look forward to it all the time. But we usually find a way to get through it. So. Yeah, I remember the first one on Zoom. That was wow. Those what a day. So here we go. We'll just jump right into it. A couple harbor specs, real quick. Just under 1,400 slips on the two basins, the inner and the outer harbor, as you know. 8 gates total. It's a mixed bag of what we have: recreational, commercial, charter brokerage. There's a lot of user groups that are in and out of this harbor. It's the 3rd largest marina in the state of Washington. So yeah.
Who's the first two?
Shilshole and Everett. Oh, so yeah. I thought we were gonna get Shilshole because they redesigned a little bit, but
Everett's the largest on the east coast or on the west coast.
Yeah. So we're not gonna catch them. So we got a bunch of indoor commercial storage area. The web lockers, almost 100,000 square feet of that. Just 1,000 linear feet dedicated to visitor moorage, which the last few years hasn't been enough. We've been seeing record numbers on visitor moorage and people coming in and out of the harbor. And we're EnviroStar and Clean Marina certified. Again, so hey. A little bit about me. Born and raised in Southeast Alaska. Anybody that's been to one of these in the last two, you've seen this slide. This is Baranof Warm Springs, one of my favorite places in the world. I was born in Southeast Alaska. Grew up in Sitka, which is on Baranof Island on the other side of this guy. Grew up commercial fishing, fished all through college. Went to Western Oregon University, the other Western. Actually, I just got back from there this weekend, so we were down there checking it out with my daughter. Wow, time's flying. So I fished all the way up until 2024 when I started working for the port. I was brought on about 6 months before Kyle Randolph, the previous Harbormaster, if anybody remembers him. So I worked with Kyle for about 2.5, 3 years in the office, and then moved over to port maintenance, just so I could have Saturday and Sunday off. Really, kids were playing soccer, and it was a good way to get up to the Northwest fields and watch them play soccer. And then in 2021, May of 2021, came back to the marinas. And it was pretty much just that I thought I was going to be working in and around the harbors a lot more when I went to maintenance. And the port is so big, I was everywhere but back at the harbor. And so when I had the opportunity to come back, I felt like I'd be dumb not to. So, and here we are. Yeah. Let's get it out of the way. Right there. So, right? So everybody recognizes the blue one in the middle. That's the original. We've probably talked about this one, and 5 years into being a Harbormaster, I felt like I had it all figured out. I didn't realize that it would be so much about derelict vessels and dock carts. But at least I'm pretty good at one of them. So they don't make the blue ones anymore, of course. I think everybody's probably heard that one. We've tried different versions, failed some. The gorilla cart's not a big crowd pleaser. It was a try. We tried. So the Rubbermaid ones. I mean, it's hard to find one that actually works that they will continue to produce. We found the ones last year that we had. These the tailor-made ones, pretty comparable size-wise. They held up really well. They're easy for my guys to put together. Figured this year we're going to order 50 more of those. Yay! They changed the model. This is what we have now. Oh. Same part number, same everything. 50 of those showed up. They don't make the ones with the legs anymore. That's how hard it is. So back to the drawing board. These ones are a little bit bigger. They fit a cooler. They're not the gorilla carts. There's a lot of pluses. I'm going to start making dock carts when I retire from the harbor, and they are going to be the Cheyenne model. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but something that probably a week doesn't go by that I don't do something dock cart related. Also harbor maintenance, that's a big one. 2025 was a fun paving project. Kyle Randolph, the previous Harbormaster, intentionally left gate 3 for me. So I intentionally left gate 3 for my 3rd or 4th year here. So it was a 2-phase process, and the unfortunate part about the paving project port wide is we don't really get to pick when we are on the schedule. The contractor tells us that based on other projects that they have. And ours originally was 4th of July weekend. So imagine how happy I was about that one. We ended up getting it taken care of. We pushed it back about a week and didn't have to move too many vehicles. We just relocated them with the help of a tow company. But it was not perfect, and paving projects never are, because they want to do it when it's nice outside, and everybody wants to be down here when it's nice outside. So one thing we did do, we're trying to bring more stuff in-house. Now we can't do the paving and the ceiling projects, but we can do the striping. So we were able to do 1/2 of the boat launch parking lot in-house with our own striping machine. And we can do that when the weather's nice, like last week. And we don't have to wait on a port-wide paving contract to get that one taken care of. Another big one for this year was the completion of the Inner Harbor life extension work and Gate 5 life extension work. A lot of work that you probably didn't see or couldn't see is underwater work with the utility hangars. Gate 9 water line finally got replaced from PVC to HDPE, so we don't have to worry about that freezing. Not that that's a problem for this winter. So you could thank us for taking care of that water line and not having to worry about it freezing. Gate 8, we're working on it, so we'll see about that one. Rub boards and whalers, a lot of the cosmetic kind of stuff, and float leveling. So it was a big project, and kind of took most of the year to kind of wrangle all that in. We brought in combined construction to do all the work, and they did a really good job. So, and that's Daryl, one of our in-house electricians. He is the one that I call when anybody runs through our security gate. So, unfortunately, it's only happened. Well, fortunately, I guess it's only happened 3 or 4 times. Lost count. My favorite time was when somebody got chased out of the harbor, and 4 Bellingham Police Department cars followed, and they actually did more damage than she did. She was in a little car; they were in their squad cars, and we got it all on camera, so it's good. Still waiting to get reimbursed for that one. But one of the big things we've probably talked about this the last couple of years is security. How do you secure a facility that was designed for accessibility, to get the public down here, to get them on the promenade? Gate 3 used to be unlocked during the day. It's not anymore because times have changed. This one right here is the security gate down at Gate 9. This was all work that was done in-house with our in-house maintenance team. Our shop guys built it, sent it down and got it galvanized, cut out the sign, and did it all 100% in-house, and probably did it for about 1/4 the price that a contractor would have cost us. It is heavy duty, so it's on a pretty regular preventative maintenance schedule to keep the zerks greased, or else I won't even be able to get it open. You're getting through it, right?
It's a workout.
Yeah. But I mean, you can see what the old one looked like, and it's, it's tough. This one we actually had Brad down in Anacortes, one of the, I can't remember what yacht club it was talking about the gates, and he actually called us to see where he could get one. So I was gonna get our
compliment.
Yeah. There's the old one down at Gate 6. Still again chain link. These things were terrible because people would either cut the chain link, cut the wires, the metal wires that were holding the chain link to the bars, or just put a pipe pole right through the chain link. And somebody actually had one that just stored right here, and it was just a cut off one about that big, and just enough to get through the chain link, hit the handle, go on in. So got rid of that one. Not a great picture of it, but I guess one funny story about this guy. Doing work in-house, sometimes you miss things. And on this particular one, what we missed, you probably know that there's 2 signs down on Gate 9 now. Well, this little guy, that piling blocked this gate, or this sign right there. So we did not see that one coming. So that's why Gate 9 has 2 signs, because we couldn't move the piling. So we learned a little bit at Gate 6. You can see there's a light pole here. Our in-house shop guys and electricians got together and integrated the light pole into the gate design. So we learned a little bit. then another story about this, you can't ever keep everybody out, and everybody knows that these whalers here and the rowboards, they have these little holes, right? They're about that big, perfect size for somebody to put their foot in and climb around. We figured nobody would ever be able to do it, so one day we saw somebody climbing around the side here. So then we had to put a piece of plastic down there, so we're figuring it out. And everybody knows gate 8 probably at a really low tide, it's high and dry, so people would just step right onto the docks. This helps. Big one from, I guess this was 2024 is when we started it, was the vessel registration program. We went out and gathered vessel registrations from every boat in the harbor. Thomas Smith, who used to work in the office, now he works over at the marine terminals, took this program on. And we really thought that this was going to lead to more derelict vessels, that we were going to be, able to get out of the harbor, free up moorage spaces. But after it was all said and done, 3 vessels from Squalicum Harbor, it's 3 vessels total, 2 from Squalicum Harbor, 1 from Blaine, were deemed derelict. And we ended up disposing of them through the DNR reimbursement program. So that was a couple years ago, and now when anybody's coming to get moorage, the 26-foot slips or coming down from Blaine, there's 3 things that we require you to have: insurance, registration, and the moorage agreement. So we should be at, everybody has registration. So we will go back through later this year, or maybe next year, and probably redo the program. But right now, everybody in the harbor should have registration. It was kind of our get everybody back to 0. And something we'd never done, and I wasn't really looking forward to it, but it went off pretty well, and we learned a lot about trip permits and people coming in from Canada or other states and how long they can be here. Now we did all this, and we made sure that people were registered. The people displaying the stickers is not what we're enforcing, so that still falls on Department of Licensing for the compliance side of things. But there's a lot of boats out there that still have old stickers. They do have registration, I can tell you that. There's the other one. Derelict vessels and the vessel turn-in program that we had in 2025. We teamed up with the Department of Natural Resources and got rid of about, I think it was 32 vessels. Wow. These 2 weren't part of that. Those were ones that we got to take care of after the program. Just as much paperwork and not as much fun. So it was a pretty cool thing. We are able to dispose of vessels about $3,000 to $4,000 using in-house maintenance. Our shop guys take care of it. They lift them out of the water over at the shipping terminal, and then we file for reimbursement through Department of Natural Resources. These were just 2 this fall that we got to deal with, and I actually have 6 that I'm dealing with currently.
Who scraps those boats? Who takes care of them?
Who takes care of them?
Like when you guys get rid of the boats, like who takes care of them, cuts them off, or do they get...
In-house maintenance, they will do everything. So these ones were pretty easy. Actually, these 2 actually went to Colony Wharf, and we had 4 go to in-house maintenance over the cruise terminal, the shipping terminal. Mast comes off, they knock the keel off, and it goes up to recycling, and they pull it right off the trailer with the excavator. And that our in-house doing it is, they can do a sailboat for about $2,500. Go out to contract is about $10,000. So we're saving the program money. We're getting it done a lot faster, and using in-house labor.
So, excuse
Yes.
me, do you get any revenue from it? Like, can you sell the mast or?
You can and scrap it, but it has to go towards the disposal cost. Right. So we could turn around and try to auction it off. One thing I did learn from Kyle, the previous Harbormaster, is a lot of these boats that are in this shape come back to you. So you either deal with it then, or you're dealing with it in a couple months when this boat's breaking loose over at the mooring field and coming back. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of boats have broken loose on the mooring field, and it hasn't even been that bad of a winter. So it's a great program. We use the heck out of it. We have one over. Actually, we have a little bay liner right about there right now. We're working on, and I just looked today. One that is not ours on the other side of the boardwalk there, or the pier. So we don't have to take care of that
Now,
one.
is that still port property, or?
This side, I guess a little bit. I guess, beyond that pier is port property, yeah.
So that's why you guys are taking care of those boats. Yeah.
And actually, the one the little bay liner that's just barely on our property was actually on BNSF land, and I think they pulled it down onto our beach because it wasn't there when we were dealing with another boat. I saw it there. I was like, oh, too bad for those guys. And then somebody reported it. I get a lot of these reports on Facebook. Sunday nights, I'll be there getting ready, for laying there in bed or getting ready for the next day, having my coffee or whatever it is, and I'll see a boat on the beach, and I'll just think, great, I know what I'm doing today. Special events coming through Squalicum Harbor. Kind of some of the normal ones. Opening day is right around the corner. Already getting ready for that one. Ski to Sea, 4th of July is a big one. Sea Feast, and thought, hey, why not one more, right? Let's go race week. So that, I was shocked how much I actually enjoyed that one. From about January on, I didn't get a full night's sleep, just trying to figure out where these boats were gonna go. We don't take reservations at Squalicum Harbor, we never have. So not knowing exactly who was coming or how deep they were, and we had some pretty big tides at that time too. It was enough for a few sleepless nights, but race week's coming back again this year. We've been having monthly check-ins with Shalene and trying to get everything kind of dialed in, so we know a little bit better what we're doing as far as getting people where they need to go, and that Sunday kind of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, getting people into slips and not having the hiccups that we kind of figured out this year. But it did give us an opportunity to have, right here, 46 boats come in. A lot of those, with support boats, were people that hadn't been to Squalicum Harbor before. So we got a lot of constructive criticism. My dad was my basketball coach growing up, so I'm good with constructive criticism. And so we decided, what really is terrible, and we heard it from these customers, our map. Our map is not great. And then we started looking around at who has a good map and stuff. And so we're going to copy Anacortes. So we're already working on that one. We figured out that, we already knew it, but it's hard to explain. Gate 3 and Gate 5 all have A, B, C, D on both sides. And so when we said to somebody with a sailboat who had never been here, go to C15, they came to Gate 3. And so we had a lot that we could kind of figure out. So it was a success. Honestly, I love seeing the boats out on the bay. It was lots of wind. It was perfect. I drove down to the old Arawak building down there at Marine Park more than a couple times just to see it all out there. So it was fun. And they're coming back. So
It was much easier than Anacortes.
all right, yeah. And it was right there, and it's visible to everybody. That was kind of the cool thing, and even I could get behind that. So
We always have winds, huge winds at that time,
yeah.
maybe.
Other projects going on around the harbor, leveling the floats between F dock and G dock here on Gate 3. That has been a work in progress. I think we've had 2 different capital projects attempts to fix that one. Don't quote me, but I think we got a solution this time. We're gonna kind of rip it down to the studs and put it back together. That was supposed to happen in September. Obviously, that didn't happen. The good news is the money's still there, and our maintenance crew is still on track to do the work. And just when can we get it done? Charging stations at Zwanich Point Park and Gate 3, those are completed. And Gillnet loading zone improvements to kind of restripe it, make it some of the pilings a little less scratchy to sailboats. It's kind of fix up the whole area. That's kind of one of those mixed use areas between commercial fishermen and the sailing crew. So yeah.
Where's that Gillnet loading zone?
It's right next to the Sawtooth. It's kind of that what do you say? Right before the fire bell.
Where the
boat.
crane is?
Yeah, it's like the crane.
Oh, okay.
Should just said that.
Yeah.
Hey, oh. There we go. That's all the time I got. All right. Yes.
Well, since you have such a handle on the dock cart situation,
Yes, I do.
dinghy storage,
Yeah.
for places, especially like Gate 3 here, which is, there's a whole
Yep.
mess of dead and dying dinghies
Yeah.
there, but there's hardly any storage there. It seems like for the amount of boats on Gate 3. And I know a lot of people on Gate 9 and stuff build their own dinghy floating platforms and whatever. Is that cool? Is the park? I know like Social has these dinghy racks that they put behind their that you rent from the port, more income, and then you can tie your dinghy up right there at the head of your slip and stuff. Is it okay to build our own thing? What's the deal?
It is, as long as you're not attaching anything to the dock. So a lot of people will go like a line from the cleat to the cleat, kitty corner, and hang them on there. This spring, something we do every spring is we get out there and we tag most of the dinghies. You'll see yellow tags on there, kind of a correction notice, cleanup notice, and we will start pulling them. And we will store them over in our storage yard we'll let them sit there. Generally, you're supposed to let them sit there for 90 days. We could pull some of those early and start cleaning up some space. So another thing we did for the first time in the 12 years I've been around Squalicum Harbor is we pressure washed part of Gate 3. So I know probably not everybody has a boat on Gate 3, but that is a large dock. So it's about a 5-year phased process. We got the visitor dock, the dock right out here, the YC, reciprocal dock, the main lateral, and in between the boathouses, and we'll start picking laterals going forward. We'll just knock those out as we're pressure washing other spots around the harbor. But yes, dinghies will be getting cleaned up and build your own. Don't attach it to the dock, and we're good. Yeah.
Do you have protocols in place to test for, I don't know what the technical expression is, but for electrical activity in the water?
Stray current?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm so
yes.
sorry, is that the word?
Yeah.
Stray current.
Stray current,
Thank
yeah.
you. Do you have a protocol in place to test for that, monitor it?
Yep. We don't monitor it so much, but we just actually dealt with one today that anytime somebody has been in the water, out of the water, and go back in the water, something happens to their zincs, right? Or
This is
that's zincs, their anodes, something.
exactly.
That's when they start noticing stuff. So we can go down, and we're pretty good at clamping a shore power cord and seeing if they're sending or receiving any current. We can flip off breakers and see that will tell us if they're sending or receiving. And anything that we can't find out, we will bring in an electrician to come down and check something out, because sometimes it's a water heater or a freezer, two of the hardest things that aren't wired right, but you have to be down there when they kick on to see them sending or receiving that voltage.
So there's no way of monitoring the water itself to see whether there is a stream?
Not in real time, no, but we can get down there and do it with a little fluke clamp meter.
Is that when they're not wired, it goes into ground, or?
Yeah, it finds a different way back to ground. So it'll find another boat or something. It'll jump to the easiest way. Yeah.
So kind of building on that, so how safe do you feel the water is to fall off my boat into? I know you can't swim in the harbor.
I was gonna-
Saltwater, very safe. Freshwater, less safe. So that's that. We do a lot of these talks at Pacific Coast Congress conventions. The saltwater, how do they say it? I'm not an electrician or an expert on this at all, but the salinity of the saltwater is more conductive than you are. That's why in freshwater, the saltwater drowning or the freshwater drowning is more common, because you're more conductive than the freshwater. Where you get in trouble is brackish water, when you get that freshwater on top. So, but yeah, that is definitely more of a freshwater problem than a saltwater problem.
So don't fall off the water
Yes.
or off the dock.
So going back to derelict boats, there was a time back in the 90s that I know of that your boat had to be capable of leaving the slip.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you had to prove it by leaving, if anybody questioned it. We have at Gate 9, there's a number of boats that haven't moved in years. Is that part of the rules anymore? How do you deal with that?
It's not in our rules and regs, and I'm looking into that one because I'm exactly the same way. A lot of other harbors make you go out and around a buoy and take a picture on a certain day, or check in with the harbor staff and see them. My staff and I and my boss and I have talked about how do we accomplish that, because other marinas do that. And when we're trying to free up moorage and get paying customers, people that are using their boats, that is something that we are looking into. But how do we implement it? I don't know. How do you randomly? I could go down there and pick 100 boats, and I don't think it'd be very random. But,
I think there's some boats that are very obvious that
Yeah.
they haven't moved.
right.
They couldn't move because they've got so many muscles on the prop or the
Mhm.
rudder or whatever. It just seems like when you have such long waiting lists,
Mm.
that putting some pressure on people that aren't using their boats. I mean, they're still paying, they must be paying their slip fee.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They can, or they've got more money to spend than I do.
You and me both.
So, kind of moving on, you know, we're talking about moorage. Can you explain the moorage rate formula these days?
Whew, yeah, what do you want to know?
Well,
I'm not the expert on the mortgage model, but yeah, I can give it a shot.
so back in the 90s and into early 2000s, I sat on the Marina Advisory Committee, and one of the roles I played there was developing two sequences of the moorage rate formula. So I had an idea of, what goes into it.
Yeah.
You've got the capital improvements, which are bonded and the like, they're
Yeah.
kind of static. It seems to me that right now, there's an automatic inflator in there of probably somewhere around 4 to 6% every year, whereas it used to be built on the expenses that it took to maintain.
Right.
Am I still correct with that?
You're still correct. So when I came on, we were just coming off of the official COVID years where we didn't raise rates at all for 2 years. So 4 years ago when we went out for a 4-year mortgage model, that was my first go at it with Tiffany D. Simone, my boss. But do you know Pam Taft?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she says hi. I just came from Mac, so and this is exactly what we were talking about. So I should have brought her presentation, and I could have skipped all this. So 4 years ago, we got direction from the commission to bring us into the middle of the market. Don't go at the top. We were so far low, and so what we did was we came up with a 3 to 6% increases, depending on what the wait sizes were for those slips. So 26s was a 3%. I think 40s, 45s got up to a 6%. And even with that was under the assumption that all the other marinas would keep raising their rates at the same rate. Well, what other marinas did was they did a massive market adjustment, a 10%. So we went through the last 4 years of the mortgage model, and we're still way down, which is fine, but projects are expensive. So
But if they're capital, they're part of the bonding situation.
they can be, yeah. And a big project like an Inner Harbor rebuild or something like that will be bonded, yeah.
What
And
does
so
that mean?
Is the, what role is the Marina Advisory Committee playing in that these days, in the developing things like the
Yeah.
mortgage rate?
So we just went through Pam's presentation of the mortgage rate for the next 4 years, and they take it and vote on it if they're going to be in support of it, and if they are, then we take it to the commission as supported by the Marine Advisory Committee.
So after that, do you have any idea of what to expect this year in?
Right now, I think that this year is going to be the same as we have a couple things coming up with the Inner Harbor rebuild that is still on the horizon. It's been pushed out a little bit, but the dredging costs, what are those going to look like? So right now we're looking at same mortgage rate increases as the previous years, but with the possibility to open it up early if we needed to make an
So in
adjustment
a
there. But I don't think we
36
will.
slip, if my increase was what,
I think 6%,
That
and
last year,
yeah.
it's gonna be 6%
Yeah.
again this year?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last question about moorage, we seem to be getting more boats in the 36-foot slips that are approximately 40 feet long,
Uh-huh.
the overhangs and the like. I'm getting tired of having to duck anchors,
Mm-hmm.
backing out of a slip and having to deal with these big chrome outboard props. Those are both in the rules right now.
Yep.
You-
So space-wise, we make them get on the wait list to get a 40-foot slip or whatever's size appropriate. Don't give them a choice, and then they have to take the first slip that is available to them. And if you got any ones out there, let me know. We are down walking the docks, but overhangs forward and aft are a big problem. So, yeah.
About how long would it take for you to, we've got I won't go into detail, but there's a boat, that's registered as a 38, but with the bowsprit and a dinghy on the back, it's gotta be 42. And they came in 2 years ago and they haven't moved. Is it taking them that long to get into a bigger slip?
It might not be one that's on our radar. What? Just give me an idea of what dock.
I put it on the radar.
Oh, you did? All right. Well, I'm gonna. Which one is it?
It's a Grand Banks 36 that's on probably N West 35.
It's next to my boat.
It's not anybody's boat in here, is it? 'Cause we can settle this right now.
If
It
it
must-
was, we would have dealt with it.
Chainsaw.
They don't know
So,
who
so
they're
Mike,
dealing with.
Mike, just to say it, being reciprocity, I deal with Nick at the port, and they are absolutely, what is the word I should use?
Uh-oh.
If you're 6 inches over being in a 30-foot slip, you don't get the slip.
Mhm.
So they are really on it.
We'll have that discussion over a bottle of wine. I have dealt with the port. I mean, I like your guys. They're great. I
They're
have
good,
no problem there. And I can completely understand if somebody comes in and says, "Oh yeah, I've got a 36-foot boat," and it's registered as an XYZ
Mhm.
36-foot. They don't get measured. Back in the days of Dave Warder, I have an Islander 36 that actually, he measured it out at 38. We got measured a couple of years back and it was a 37, and I'm still sitting in at 36 because I was grandfathered. I know how difficult it is, but when something like that is, and this one boat is obviously too big.
No, yeah.
It's,
Well, it's on my radar now, so we can get it taken care of. These are the ones I like to hear about, and they won't hear anything from you, trust me.
and then the lastly, are there?
You came ready today, didn't you? This is the last question right here. Go ahead.
Limited questions per person.
Okay, I've been in the harbor, we've been in the harbor for 36 years now.
Alright.
And I served on the Marina Advisory Committee, I've been part of this. I taught for San Juan Sailing, so I have a lot. My question. Is there a room on the Marina Advisory Committee?
All that?
Yeah.
You want to come back?
Well, I mean, this is what you gotta put up with.
I believe there is. Let me talk to Andy. He kind of handles all that up in Blaine.
Andy knows me,
yep.
Pam knows
Pam
me,
knows, yeah.
Mike Reed, yeah.
They didn't get rid of you, did they? Okay. I mean, I just got here, so.
I got tired of, in that period of rubber stamping things that I didn't believe in.
No, yeah, I'll let him know. Okay, we'll go in order here.
I know you're not the Harbormaster in Blaine, Andy is, but what can you tell us about the travel lift up there and the port and I've heard some things. There was a newspaper article in the Blaine paper about possibly the port opening up that.
They are permitting and environmental is a big part of it. There's a big cleanup that has to happen first, and I know Andy's going through that. That was on some of Pam's slides for the capital projects in the coming up years for Blaine. I wish I would have just grabbed Pam's presentation.
What can you share with us about what's going on?
Outside of that, I don't know a whole lot. I think they're still a year or two away from actually pulling out boats of any size, seine skiffs and stuff like that. I think they've pulled out of the water. But yeah, it's just a huge lift environmentally, and it's very costly. So.
You mentioned reconfiguration, and that's kind of been pushed out. Do you have any update on that for us?
Oh, I do actually. So as of right now, so we went out and we sampled the inner harbor to see where we could dredge and where those spoils would go. It could be a water disposal, or it had to go upland. Now we of course want water disposal because that's about a quarter of the price of paying to ship it upland and dispose of it. So we're doing a second round of sampling right now. It's called bioaccumulation testing, which they put these little bugs in there. They eat up whatever's in there, and then they test the bugs. So I'm learning stuff on that one. So the end of quarter one, we're expecting to have some results for what that looks like. So we had some areas pop a little bit hot because it is a cleanup site, part of that inner harbor. So we're trying to figure out what the configuration looks like, where they're sampling, and if we can get a kind of a favorable survey, I guess. But yeah, right now dredging is tentatively scheduled for 2029, and we don't know if that's going to be kind of a blanket, full-blown dredge or a spot dredge. As you know, the inner harbor hasn't silted in like what the outer harbor has with facing the Nooksack River. We haven't seen a whole lot of silting in the inner harbor. So
And what's the inner harbor? Which part of the marina is that?
where you are?
Oh,
Gate
gate
9, yeah,
that's
over there by the.
Okay.
And you still have plans for keeping the CYC reciprocity slips together?
Yep, absolutely. Yes.
So what's the big pipe that they keep digging out in front of the entrance?
I think that I don't know for sure. The one across the road there.
Yeah.
I think that has to do with the lift station that they're working on in the corner over here. So, yeah, I was just commenting to one of my guys. It's been going on for so long, but at least they're not ripping up the road anymore. So, yeah.
Curiosity question.
All right.
Since you mentioned like the silting in the Nooksack, after the big storms this past winter, there were like in front of Bellingham Cold Storage, like trees, giant trees, just floating in there. And I noticed a lot of people, they pull them up and they set them on the fingers and stuff, just so they're not killing their boats and stuff. And it seems like some of the logs hang out and some of them disappear. Do you guys go through and pull them away somewhere?
So,
if we need 'em-
you'll probably see Bryce out tomorrow. So I'm fully staffed. Well, fully staffed. We'll call it what it is. I'm a little short-staffed right now. I lost Thomas to the shipping terminal. We are going to be bringing on a new staff member next Tuesday. So first one I've had to hire in about 3.5 years. So it's good, and she's going to be a great addition to the office. Bryce took, I think he said 6 or 7 dock carts worth of wood off of Gate 6 last week. He's doing Gate 9 tomorrow afternoon. And some of the big ones here on Gate 3, that's kind of a 2-man job with the skiff. Get them back out of here and release them back to the wild.
Yeah.
Which I always liked doing when I was in the office the first time, but yeah. So yeah, it was pretty wild. I went up to Gate 5, some of our big slips out there that faced the break wall, and they were just completely filled in with everything from that big to that big. And an entire 96-foot slip just completely filled. And then like a couple days later, they're gone.
So,
More?
oh, Andy has a question, but on the
Oh.
theme, since I got your attention
All
already.
right, yeah.
So you talked about the silting and stuff. Any dredging just off of Bellingham Cold Storage there?
I want to hit that shallow hump right there.
Yeah, the hump. Yeah.
The one that one boat every year gets heavy.
Oh, shit, so those
Yes.
we hang out there occasionally.
Thank you, Bruin.
And I know Julie Winkler on the Cinnamon Grill a couple years ago was right there, and my boss Tiffany DeSimone just happened to be moving her boat the same exact time, and Julie, who was on the Mac, yeah. So she sat tight for a couple hours, but yeah, that is one. We're trying to figure out what is going to happen all over here on that whole side that's kind of collapsing, and has been since I've been here for 12 years. So
Looks like Andy has a question
Yeah.
to say.
Aaron, I just wanna say, you guys do a great job.
Yes.
all right, thank you. I have a great staff. Like I said, I haven't had to hire anybody in about 3 years, and they've really hit their stride. It's been interesting this summer, or this winter, because usually it's kind of a cyclical pattern, right? We come inside, we hunker down for a month or two, we come off the busy summer. Everybody kind of takes a breath, and we get ready to go pressure wash or something. And now it's like, what are we doing? We should be outside right now, but we don't know if it's going to change, tomorrow. So, I have a really great crew. They've all bought in. They're young and energetic, and they truly are trying to make the place better. And it's fun. Oh yeah.
I had another question.
Yeah.
So the rate increases for this year are not going to change, but you said you guys are kind of developing something new for the next 4 or 5 years. Is that going to be different than the formula that's currently
Right now, it's the same thing for the next 4 years. Is what's
for the
being
next
proposed.
4 years?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Great.
So you said that had to be approved by someone.
Yes. The commission,
Who is that?
the commissioners. So we just make a recommendation to them. What's that?
And when do they meet?
They meet 2 Tuesdays. Let me see. I think it's the first and the third Tuesday of every month. So I think next week they'll be meeting.
I recognize that, I have 3 pets. I recognize that the increases have to happen. But for every year, we have been stable, renters of your dogs, and we are the ones that are paying more all the time. doesn't seem right to us, I mean, to me, anyway, that now we have to go do 6% more next year, 6% more next year. You're gonna price us out of being able to be boat owners.
And we are,
And-
oh, sorry.
And I know you understand that, but it's, very frustrating, because if I have to choose between my house and making a life there, or my boat, maybe I'll choose my boat. So you better start looking at adding more liveaboard spaces, because this might be the cheapest option for me
It is.
as I'm in retirement time.
Right.
And, you know, when you're looking at both, it's a very hard balance.
It's one of, yeah.
And, I don't know, I assume that they all understand that. But I think you also have to take into account the people that have been committed and are good mortgage people for you. And, I feel like we tend to be a little bit punished in the 6%. You know, why can't we be the 3? Anyway, the other thing that bugs me is dock carts. Granted, you have a trouble with finding which one will work for us, but we can never find it. And, you know, if there's a way to lock them up, other places have them behind the gates instead of in front of the gates. And people will leave them there, you know, so that there's something there for them to get.
Right.
And the trash bins, you know, you can put a little zippy thing on the trash bin so that we can get in to use it. And everybody else, I'm gonna sit out there one day with a chair and charge $10
Yeah.
that dumps something
Yeah.
in there that doesn't belong in there.
It's like a public dump. pretty
Yeah,
much.
it is. All, the whole county comes down and dumps them. Yeah, absolutely. I send out a lot of illegal dumping letters with bills attached to them.
Is that upland, or the port has the upland, in our property taxes, and you have the, on the water, which is,
Leasehold tax?
yeah, leasehold. So are the trash cans part of the upland, or are they part of the leasehold?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, they come out, so we pay for it, the marinas with real estate, and open space. I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, is that, I'm on board with what, one of the things that Chris talked about, and that was why I was asking you about the mortgage rate. We've come very close to saying, okay, we can't be voters
Right.
anymore. And that's sad, because like Chris says, we have supported this port for so long in so many ways as good, responsible boaters that use their boats. Yeah, I guess I just,
I know we're being aware of, trying to be aware of not pricing people out of boating. And so we are a boating community, and we just got to talking about that at MAC. Harbors are expensive to run, and I wish that there was another way. I really do. It's hard.
yeah, but you know, that's true of anything in the municipality, but I can get a low income discount on my property taxes, I can get it on my city utilities, I can get it on my gas, I can get it on electric. Why don't you allow for something like that within the port for people that are starting to get priced out?
Yeah, I don't know. We could look into that though. I don't know if there's some sort of gifting of public services that we'd fall under, but it would be worth looking
You
into.
follow the same state laws that those in the municipalities,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Senior. How about seniors?
Here's one more.
Well, seniors, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this may not be within your scope anyway. But I'm originally from Vancouver, and recently I was walking down by the Falls Creek end of Vancouver, and there are a number of permanent liveaboard communities. They're private, privately owned, the slips are privately owned, but it is on public water. Is there a philosophy of which you're aware, which is specific to the port in the state of Washington, that is either pro or against privately owned liveaboard communities? Because it doesn't seem to me that, the Squalicum Harbor, which is a commercial harbor, is probably a good place for a permanent liveaboard community. On the other hand, having a liveaboard community is a very good thing. I mean, I think, aesthetically it's a very good thing, and for a lot of other reasons, it's potentially a very good thing. So is that something that is rejected, accepted, it's not in the cards? Do you know anything about it?
As far as, so Squalicum and Blaine Harbor, as far as they go, we do have a liveaboard program. So Squalicum Harbor can have 100 liveaboards in the harbor, and I think Blaine is at about 50. As far as like private or communal liveaboard areas outside of the harbor, that would fall under DNR, and usually Department of Natural Resources. They manage a lot of the tidelands, and a lot of their land you have to move off of every 30 days. You have to move a certain distance away, so you have to be movable. That's why we kind of see some of these boats over on Fairhaven that just stay on anchor and they break loose in the middle of a winter storm and end up on Squalicum Beach.
Is the harbor not large enough to support a privately owned, on the water, privately held, liveaboard?
We don't have a lot of space left that's not being used, but yeah, outside of our 100, yeah, we are registered to have. So.
Semi-hour.
Point Roberts.
You can buy a slip in Semi Alma, you can buy a slip in Point
Well, Roberts, yeah.
Oh.
I have a question about the dock boxes.
Yeah.
I'm new here and I actually don't know about the dock boxes, but I've been at other harbors. And one thing that always just puzzled me is why they don't say where the dock boxes belong. Because when you are new to the dock and you take the dock box back to the boat and say, and then it's like, where is it supposed to go? We were liveaboards for 5 years, and the dock boxes would always just end up at random places, and I never was.
Dock carts.
Sorry.
I got there. Like, who's taking our dock?
Sorry. Back to the slide thing.
Yeah.
The whole daily thing. But
Go
so
back
I'm
to
just
that. Oops.
wondering if you have a thing like this goes here and that it's clearly identified where it goes, because half the problem is nobody knew where to put it.
We used to have them glassed into the shining cart. Please return to the top of the ramp. We do have signs at the dock cart stations around the harbor. Please return to the top of the ramp. A lot of people don't. We find a lot of them out on G West. We are constantly chasing them down, especially in the summertime. Unfortunately, every time you want to use a dock cart, everybody else wants to use a dock cart. Nobody's down here. Well, I guess this week's a bad example, but if it was raining sideways, tons of dock carts. Come on down, get one. But they walk off. We chase them down Rotor. We've chased them down Cornwall. I've done them up Iron Gate. We pulled them off a guy's RV one time with BPD's help. It was a nice rescue. Back when we were getting these ones, we could get 12 of those a year.
Wow.
And they were about $6,000-7,000 for those 12. They're super expensive, but they were great. We got 50 of these for about a little over $10,000. So we do have a lot more, but they are walking away, just like everything else.
One of the things that I see with them is you get some contractors that come down and they'll load up all their tools and they'll take them to the big aluminum boat they're working on, not to mention any names. They'll sit there all day.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how you solve that problem, but outside of talking to them and asking them to provide their own. Because there are, like Pacific Marine Systems, so.
They're collapsible ones, and yeah.
Yeah, it's Tri-County and the like too.
And I've talked with our real estate department and kind of have more of those relationships with some of the tenants that they should be responsible. Because I see them in the back of our shop, and they'll have outboards in them and stuff like that. And I'll go over there and unload them and take them back out. They get used and abused by everybody. I mean, even our after-hours cleaning crews. They leave one over the gate and then.
For every slip, and there still wouldn't be enough dock carts.
That is true.
You just gotta get on people and force them to be good boaters like you want them to be good neighbors. And when you're done with the dock cart, get your stuff down there and put it back. Don't wait till you stow everything on your boat and you're ready to leave because you go return it.
Yeah. It's kind of the shopping cart debacle, right? You either return it to the corral or you leave it right there in the little planter box there. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.